What's up, everybody, and welcome to another review slash impressions. Today we have Vampire the Masquerade Swansong. This was published by Nacon and developed by Big Bad Wolf. Vampire the Masquerade Swansong is the story of three vampires that you. First off, if you haven't guessed, it is set in the Vampire the Masquerade world. I guess I should preface that, but I feel like the name gave it away. But this is the story of three vampires in the Boston Camarilla as a plot goes down to try and wipe out what's left of the Camarilla. And you play as these three vampires in different settings. You get to uh, give each one their own attribute points and basically create a character sheet for each one. And you will take them through diverse situations that all have the same story. Like, trying to think of the best way to put this. They're all part of the same story, but their situations are diverse in what you're going to be doing and gameplay elements and everything like that. So there are three characters. We'll start with Leisha. Leisha has the ability to go invisible for a short time and copy another character's outfit, their appearance, basically. And then we have I'm blanking Galeb. Thank you, which was me just remembering. Galeb is a much more. I'd say Galeb is the more agent-ish of the characters. Galeb usually investigates, works close to the prince of the Camarilla. He gets to the bottom of things, and he's not afraid to get his hands dirty should he need to. The third character, again, I'm blanking on her name, Emem. Emem. My mind is scrambled today. Emem is much more of a we are going to talk to people. Much more of the friendly, the diplomatic character. That's the word I was thinking of. She's much more of a diplomatic character that you play as. Uh, to give you an idea, one of her missions is going and navigating another sex base of operations, basically, to try and talk to them to see about joining, like making a pact to join for a situation in the game. One of Leisha's missions is you need to investigate a crime scene where something happened and a bunch of vampires were killed. Sorry, kindred. They prefer to be called kindred in this world. So you're investigating a crime scene where a bunch of kindred were killed, filled with FBI agents and agents of the Second Inquisition, which is the group that's hunting kindred. And Galeb is much more of the go inside of the enemy, like not literally not opening their bodies, but like go inside their base and work your way through and do what you need to destroy evidence and just rot the enemy within is, I guess, the best way to say it. Now, the story, it was good. I'm not gonna beat around that bush. It was good. It was fine. You're playing as these characters, trying to defend the Camarilla. You find out the Second Inquisition gets involved, and it's not really a spoiler. That's early on. It was fine. There is one cool thing I really enjoy is there are different endings for each character, to where each character could die in the game, or survive and do one thing, survive and do another thing. It's neat. There are multiple endings, which would give the game multiple playthroughs. The gameplay is fine. One of the things I enjoy about games like this is there's not really any combat. There's no fighting. There are some. I'm not gonna say. I don't want to say chase segments, but it's you hiding. You're not there to get into combat. The tension in this game is mainly built through uh, verbal combat, different dialogue trees, and just your decisions could make or break the what happens next. I really enjoy that about it. It makes they bring in certain elements to certain moments, which makes the tension rise when it's just, am I going to say the right thing? How do I combat this with a better choice? Like, am I going to say something that's going to make him angry, calm him down? I really, really enjoyed that about it, and it made some of the shortcomings the game has much more worth it by having me constantly be like, oh, I can't wait until we get into this next. I don't even want to say argument, but this next dialogue section. It was so interesting and so fun. Honestly, I think it may be my favorite part of the game. The gameplay itself is fine. Again, the biggest thing I can say is most of this game is fine. It's nothing special. There's not much that's bad. Everything's just fine. You do a lot of like walking around, some investigating. Like I said, a lot of the gameplay is through dialogue. There are so many things you can miss that can change the course of what may happen. At the end of each level, you get experience that at the beginning of the next level as that character, you can put into increasing certain skill trees or different abilities. But there's not a whole lot more than that. But that's fine because I don't think the game needed it. Like I said, it doesn't need the combat. The investigation is really neat. You find some cool stuff. Like I said, it can change it to the point where I found out some stuff after I played the game, and I'm like, oh, that would have been neat if I found that. So I think it does. It sets out to do exactly what it wants to do. No more and no less. Which I think works to this game's advantage and disadvantage. When it comes to bad, it can be kind of clunky. Some of the character animations aren't the greatest. And there were some times I got really, really stuck. And I had to look up a guide. Because it was like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go now. Granted, one of them was just me not having my eyes open enough and not turning to the left to see stairs. But there were moments where I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now. But they were few and far between. There's a lot of puzzles in there. There were some I definitely had a hard time with. But also, I'm not the best at puzzles. So somebody who is better than me at the situations would probably have a much easier time with this game. All in all, Vampire the Masquerade Swansong is a pretty fine game. It's not amazing. But it's not bad either. It's interesting if you know what you're going in for. And one of the best parts about this is, since this game has been out for a number of years, you can get it rather cheap. You can find it cheap on sale often, or I'm sure like right now brand new on every I played it on PlayStation 4 and 5. I played halfway on 5 a while ago, so I decided, I'm going to play on PlayStation 4, get trophies again. And this time played all the way through it on PS4. But I know it's out the on Steam, and I'm pretty sure Xbox and maybe Switch. But you can get it for pretty cheap. And if this is a kind of game you would be into, I recommend it. If it's something where you're like, I don't know how I feel about this, but maybe I, I would probably stay away. It probably would not be the game for you. But I had such a good time, and it's neat seeing the worlds of the World of Darkness combining, where like you see different elements from because the World of Darkness is Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Wraith the Oblivion. There are a couple different worlds in this world, and it's neat seeing them intertwine certain things. Yeah, I had a good time with this game. I'm not going to say I loved it, but I had fun and I'm glad I played it. And for a game that you can find all the time now for $10 or less, there's nothing more I could ask of it. So, yeah, this is one of those games, use your own judgment. If what I said sounds like, "Oh, that might be fun," give it a shot. I I don't know if you're like me. If you get a game for $10, if I get a game for $10, and I go, you know what, this isn't as good as I thought it would be, I'm not really upset because I didn't spend an arm and a leg on it, and that's totally fine. So use your own judgment. But I enjoyed Vampire the Masquerade Swansong. That is everything I have for you today. Thank you for listening. And until next time, have fun gaming, kindred.